everybody? Sorry about that. I had to end the last one. So what y'all up to today? Yeah, I'm just sitting outside chilling, and I wanted to see what everybody was up to. I ain't got much going on. I'm off today. Didn't have to work. So I decided to just go live. Had a very busy weekend this weekend. Had my family reunion. All my family, my kids, everybody was here. Um, went to the park. Um, we had a great time. Great time. Always great to have your family around. I enjoy having my family here. Yeah. So that's all I had going on. And I actually, you know, I worked yesterday, but my job, I have a federal job, so we were actually closed on yesterday. But I went into work just to get a couple of extra hours in. But I took off today just to kind of relax a little bit. So so y'all, I was listening to a podcast that Ray Lewis was on. Ray Lewis was on. I can't remember the name of the podcast, what podcast it was, but Ray Lewis was actually on there, and they asked him a question about Shannon Sharp. You know, and as you all know, Ray Lewis and Shannon, they played football with the Baltimore Ravens back in the days. They played football together, and Shannon and Ray actually was they were pretty good friends. They were pretty good friends back in the days. And I don't know what happened between them, but something actually happened between Shannon and Ray where they fell out and they weren't as close as they used to. But someone on a podcast actually asked Shannon whether or not Ray and how he feels about Shannon and his fame, and if he felt like he was always gonna, be a good podcast and all that. Ray answered the question, but he also extended to add more of his thoughts about it, which was weird to me because some of the things that he said, the podcaster didn't really didn't ask him. He just kind of just went on and just started talking about it. So I don't know. Can y'all hear me? I hope I got the chat thing on. Let me see. Yeah. So yeah. So Ray made a comment. He made a comment talking about Shannon, basically saying that he always felt that Shannon was gonna make a good podcaster, but the direction that Shannon went, he had to pretty much fall back from Shannon. Because one time he said back in the days, Shannon wouldn't drink, smoke. He wouldn't do none of that stuff back in the days. But all of a sudden, once he became famous, once Shannon became famous, then he started, acting different. So he felt as though he needed to move on in a different direction. So my thing listening to it, I was like, Ray might have been coming from a good place, but to me, in my opinion, I feel as though he low key sound like he was kind of hating a little bit because some of the criticism that he gave, it wasn't even warranted. He didn't even ask for it. And I saw Shannon's response, and I think Shannon kind of feels the same way. Because if you remember now, Ray Lewis was in some trouble years ago with that shooting incident, And back then, when him and Shannon was friends, Shannon actually was there for him and had his back during that whole time when people was calling him a murderer, and I think somebody got killed or something. And Ray almost spent time in jail over that. He really did. But look, Shannon had his back, and I think Shannon feels a little slighted by Ray doing that, and I could tell by his response on Nightcap. I was looking at Nightcap, and his response that he gave. He didn't call Ray's name, but you can tell by his response that he was actually talking about Ray Lewis when he mentioned that. So, my thing is like Ray got to understand. One thing I noticed about this podcasting, you know, the social media, in order for you to get the views and the money, sometimes I feel like you got to get out of character. And a lot of things that Shannon does, I don't think it's really him. I think he do a lot of things just because it's what sells right now, and it's what people want to see. Now I do believe like a lot of things that he do, because he talks a lot about how he was raised and all that stuff. So I do think he do believe a lot of stuff that he says. I do believe that, but I do think that he adds on a lot too, because the way his grandparents was thick was strict on him. A lot of this stuff. Look, Ray knows how Shannon was. He know how Shannon was. He knows that Shannon is putting on a lot for his audience. And I think he's a little disappointed that the direction that Shannon is going with his podcast, that's not how he was once. But money changed people. One thing you got to realize in this world that we live in, the world that we live in, money is going to change you. Once you start getting money and you start becoming famous, I don't care how hard you try to not be different, you're going to be different, because you're going to end up with different friends. You're going to have different friends. You're going to be in different environment. It's a lot of things about you going to change, and that's what happened with him. That's what happened with him. Money started to come in and things started to change for him. And I feel as though a lot of his older friends that he once had, they're jealous of him. So that's, I do feel a lot of stuff, Ray might be on point on what he says, but I do feel as though he's also jealous because a lot of people don't have that charisma that Shannon actually have in his podcast. And it takes a lot of charisma to actually make it in that world. Like me, I'm not a talker. Like I can have a conversation, but it takes talent to actually sit there and just hold a conversation to a camera when you ain't talking to nobody. You know what I'm saying? You're not engaging with anyone. You got to actually make conversation. It takes talent. It takes a lot of talent to do that, and everybody does not have that talent. And I commend people that actually do. I really do commend people that that has that talent. My son is like that. My oldest son, he can do it. He can do stuff like that all day, you know. But me, I've always been real quiet and kind of laid back type of person. So I've never, I've never had to really do that. But if you put me one on one with someone with a conversation, I can go all day. I can talk, but just kind of making a conversation, I gotta have a title. I gotta have something that I can actually engage in, or something that I can actually talk about in order to have my conversation going on. And I don't know if I have my this YouTube settings set right. That's one thing I gotta figure out, because I don't even know. But anyway, I hope you guys can hear me. Now, I'm not going to stay on here too long. Today is actually it's actually my day off. Like I said, I took today off because Yesterday was actually a holiday for me. I did volunteer and I went into work. I don't know why I did that, but I volunteered and went into work. But I took today off, and tomorrow is my actual day off tomorrow. So I don't have to be back to work until Thursday. So right now, I'm actually just sitting here. See, I'm sitting here, I'm in my yard, I'm just sitting here chilling, enjoying the outdoors. And that's what I'm doing right now. So, but yeah, I hope all you guys are having a good day. And y'all, so y'all, look, I don't know if y'all, any of y'all out there like football fans, but I'm a football fan. And the Cowboys are my team. And I guess you all heard like recently they traded Michael Parsons. I don't know how to feel about that, y'all. I really don't know how to feel about that because at the end of the day, Michael was getting on my nerves because he was to me a little arrogant and kind of self-centered. I actually met Michael Parsons last year. Was it last year? No, the year before last. I went to a Cowboys game, and the the girl that I went with, she actually had VIP passes where we actually had seats out there in the tunnel. So I met a couple of the players back then, and they all were pretty friendly and nice. But Micah, he was kind of, I don't know. He could have been in game mode or something too. I don't know, but his attitude was just a little kind of stuck up to me. But so I always felt some type of way about him anyway. But I don't really know how I feel about him not being on the team anymore because he made a great impact to our team. He did, I must say. But I don't know if I feel as though he's worth all that money that he was trying to get. Even though they offered him some money and he turned it down, and then he went to another team for almost the same price. I guess it's just the guaranteed money or whatever why he took it. But yeah, I don't really know how I feel about him being gone. I think it all depends on what the Cowboys actually do with the picks and what they got for him. It's gonna make a difference. But I love my Cowboys, but I'm gonna tell y'all, I think we're gonna take our first L at the first season because I think we're playing the Eagles. I ain't too sure about that, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna root for them. Yeah. That's all. That's all going on too much. I just wanted to talk about that situation with Shannon and what's going on with him and Ray. Shannon did respond back on his nightcap video, and he kind of made a little shot. He took a little shot at him, but he didn't call his name. But we all know who he was talking about. I knew he was talking about Ray. And I think everybody else knew that when he was winning, and that's true. When he was winning, you didn't hear anyone saying too much. But now that he's a low hanging fruit. That's now you're gonna see where a lot of hate come out on him. Hey KTC, how are you? I'm just on here rambling, KTC. I don't have a topic. I'm just on here rambling, just talking. I'm enjoying the outdoors. I'm just out here enjoying my yard. Yeah. You having a good day? Okay. Well, I have the day off. I actually have the day off, so I don't get to sit outside in my yard too often because I'm always working. I work and I do a little bit of real estate on the side. Thank you. So just chilling right now, taking trying to get acclimated with things. Once you've been in a career for so long. Hey, family money. Hey, how are you? Yeah. I was actually, um, I work. I have a federal job, so of course we were closed on yesterday. But um, I volunteered to go to work. I don't know why I did that. I was like, when I got there, I was like, why did I do this? But anyway, I did it. But I had today off anyway. I had the day off anyway, so I said, well, I'm just gonna take advantage of working yesterday and then just chilling out today. Actually, today and tomorrow is my actual day off. I had leave today, and tomorrow is my actual day off. So I got a couple of days off that I can chill before it's time for me to go back to work. Cause I've been, real busy. We had my we had our family reunion this past weekend, so I was very busy with that. All my kids came, they were home. My kids and my grands. We were just out, had a good time having all my family together. And yeah, I may be going out of town. I may have to go to Baltimore on Friday. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it yet or not. I have to see if I can get off. My uncle passed away, and his funeral is Friday. His birthday would have been um, Friday, and he would have been 99 years old had he made it to his birthday. He would have been 99 years old, and he passed away like a week before. Thank you. Yeah, he passed away a week before. He was actually my only living uncle that I had left. My dad's brother. So my family, we're gonna try to go there and support. And sometimes, with these jobs, they don't, unless it's your immediate family, they don't want to let you get off. So I don't know. I might see a sick day coming in. I don't know. But yeah, but he was a great uncle though. He was had a lot of charisma, had a lot of charisma, and our family we would truly miss him. Miss him. But to live to be the age that he was, that's a blessing. Cause I don't know about y'all, but I don't see a lot of people living, you know, like they used to. Like the older people live to see 80 and 90 years old and still doing well. You don't really see that now. You got so much people they're dying so young, and you got these kids with all these violence, and it's ridiculous. Kids are they're terrible, you know. And I don't know. Let me ask y'all this, okay? In the county that I live in, the past 3 weekends, we've been having a lot of police chase, and within the past 3 weekends, you had two people that got killed, two innocent people that actually got killed in that situation. Now, my thing is, I understand that police officers have to do their job. I understand that wholeheartedly. But is it anxiety? Is it pride? What is it that makes them feel like they have to chase this person if you know that you're putting other people's lives in danger? I know that they're doing their job, but I feel as though it don't have to get to that point. I don't. Hey, Rumorville. I feel as though it don't have to get to that point to where people got to lose their lives because okay, last weekend they had a police chase where it was an altercation taking place in the Walmart in the area. This person pulled out a gun and waved it around to whomever he was arguing with, whatever. They called the police. The police came out there. Guy got in his car and he took off and ran. Police got in the car and chased him. The area isn't by so big. There's a lot of stoplights, all this going on. And this was like 10 o'clock at night. It wasn't like this was late at night where a lot of cars wouldn't be on the road. It was like 10 o'clock at night. So the guy, he was going like 120 miles an hour, ran into the back of this person at the stoplight. I guess when he got close to, I guess driving, he's looking back to see how far back the police is with him and didn't realize there was a car at the stoplight. So he went and he ran. When he realized he was running into the car, he turned to the side and actually hit this person. The person was on the passenger side and he killed him. Innocent person. I actually knew the guy. He was a very nice guy. Hate to hear that happened to him because he was actually a very, very nice person. And the police chased him until that happened. That was the weekend before last. And then last week, you had another incident of something similar happen again. And the people that's doing the chasing and the officers, nothing's happening to them, but you got these innocent people that's just traveling the road. They're getting killed. They're getting unalive. Let's see, authority, power, fear. Yeah, I get it, but my thing is, I feel as though their car should be equipped. If you can get that close to them, you got cameras in your car, they got cameras in the car, you can get the license plate number. Like that incident at Walmart. The person knew the person who he waved the gun at knew who he was. So why couldn't you just go ahead and get that person information? You can go back and pick them up, but instead you risk not only your life, but the lives of a bunch of innocent people by chasing him, knowing that he's not going to stop. Because if he's running for a reason. And come to find out, the guy, he had warrants on him and all this stuff. That's why he didn't want to get caught. So when people do that, they're running for a reason. But you're just risking the lives of so much other innocent people. When you got dash cameras, you got all this stuff that you can get the license plate and then go back and get whoever you're looking for or whoever you're chasing. You'll be able to find them. But I just feel it's not worth the risks of killing innocent people. I mean, and I know that they're doing their jobs, and I'm 100% for them doing their job, but I just think it's got to be a better way. It has to be a better way. It has to be a better way. And they just passed the new law in South Carolina where it's hands-free law, where if they catch you with your phones in your hands, it's $100 fine. The first fine is $100 fine. Second fine, I think is I forgot how much the second fine is, and you get 2 points off your license. So they're making all these laws and stuff, but yeah, I want to see them follow them laws too. Yeah, KTC, exactly. I feel as though they don't. I don't know. I feel as though that law should be passed everywhere. I don't think they should be chasing people because it's a few years ago, and I'll never forget this incident because it happened actually the same year my daughter graduated too. Say that again. I'm saying. Some people, well, I know, I understand that. I understand that people need to be in jail. Now, I'm not advocating for these people not to go to jail, who's being chased. Now I want them off they need to be off the streets. I agree with them, but I think there's a better way. It should be a different or a better way of handling it, because it's just risking. Yeah, that's true. I agree. I do agree. But like I said, it has to be a better way of handling that situation. You have a dash cam, you can get the license plate number, and go back and pick them up later. Hey, Yvonne May, how are you? Yeah, they got a better way of doing that now. You can. That's what you got the dash cam for. Exactly, KTC. Get a helicopter and call it in, or call for backup. You can get other people. You can get another cop and trap them off somewhere or something. I don't know, you know. And I guess it's easy for us to say that because we're not in that situation. And I understand when adrenaline kicks in. Once adrenaline kicks in any situation, we can never say what we will or what we won't do. You know, but once your adrenaline kick in, you sometimes you just can't help yourself. You don't know if it's pride with them or you don't know if it's adrenaline. That's the thing. Some of them are proud. It's pride. Hey, Miss Baker, a lot of them is pride. They want to win. They want to make sure. Look, they want to make sure they're doing their job, or they want to make sure that person is caught. But you don't want to risk the lives of everyone else while you trying to be the hero. That's the thing. You got to just make sure that you making everyone safe in that situation. Everyone's safe. Because at the end of the day, if something like that should happen, they're not going to get any. They're not going to get any discipline behind it, because all they're going to say is they're doing their jobs. But that's still someone that has lost a family member. So yeah, I don't know. A few years ago, something similar happened. This mother, this mother, and two of her daughters, they were traveling, and police officer, it was a woman cop. She ran the red light chasing someone. She ran the red light chasing someone, and she hit the mom and the two daughters. That one of the daughters had just graduated from high school. It was so sad. I remember this happened. One of the daughters had just graduated from high school like the day before when this happened. And they were traveling, and that police officer came and she ran a red light and she hit that mom and that daughter, those two ladies in the car, and killed all three of them. All three, the mom and the two daughter, they all got killed, got unalive in that incident. And they recently tried that lady, and she didn't get no time in jail. None. And it was a big uproar over that. So that's what I'm saying. They're not going to get the proper discipline. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they're not going to get the discipline that they deserve, but that's not going to bring a life back. I'm sorry, it's not going to fix it, you know. So it's bad. It's not a good thing. So I hope they can find ways, at least find some ways out here where they can make it a better way. Because it's not good. Like I said, we got enough young people out here, lives being cut short for other nonsense reason. We don't need we don't need the help of law enforcement to take them out. So it's wild. I don't know what's going on with these kids now. It's just wild. I tell my kids all the time. I was like, If y'all was grew up in the time when we grew up, y'all would love it. Cause all my kids, they kind of old school. They they like listening to older music. They I guess that's because that's what I listen to. So they listen to the stuff that I listen to, and they grew up like that too. They like other music too, but they pretty laid back. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the music that caused some of these kids to behave the way that they behave or what. We got some wild kids out here. Some of these children are wild, and they fear nothing. I think that's the thing with them. They don't fear anything. Kids don't. We feared our parents back in the days. These A lot of these kids, 11-year was shot for playing doorknob. Wow. KTC, I saw that. Where did that happen at? I saw that article popped up on something I was looking at, and I saw that article popped up. I did see that. That was wild. You right. I did see that. But I mean, hey, these days and time, people don't play like that because you got so much people. They're breaking in your house, and people work hard for their stuff. You got these kids. They don't care nothing about that. People work so hard. Right. Right. I'm just so glad that you know I raised my kids at the time. In the time that I raised them, things were a whole lot different because now, which is fair for your grand. I have two grandchildren, so it's like they have to deal with what's going on in this society in this world now. When I was raising my kids, a lot of the stuff that's going on, like the kidnapping and all that stuff, in Texas. Okay, you said they're not, Miss Baker. They're not. They're not. They're totally different. Like I said, a lot of it is because they don't fear anything. They're not afraid of anything. They just I think they think they're invincible. That nothing can happen to them. Yeah, they do. They do. And it's a see me world, and everybody want to be seen and want to be out there, and nobody have enough common sense. Nobody have enough common sense to be leaders. It's too much people want to be followers. Everybody want to be followers out there. These kids is the challenge. Some of the challenges don't even make sense to me. I'm like, now why would you take a watermelon and bust your head with it? What in the world kind of challenge is that? Make that make sense. Come on now. I mean, let's keep it real. Who's gonna sit there and let somebody bust them in the head with a watermelon and call it a challenge? Really? I don't know. I don't know. I guess common sense just ain't common no more. Common sense is just not common anymore. Cause I could never. And it was another challenge KTC I saw on there. What was it? I can't remember what it is right now. It was something crazy. I was like, I can't believe these people actually sitting here and making this a trend. Stupid. It's real stupid. But yeah. But did y'all hear about? I can't remember where this happened at either. But the woman that went to go look for her husband, right? A perfectly good watermelon. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. The choking challenge. Think about that. The choking challenge. Why would anybody even want to try something like that? Hey, Yam saying, man, how are you? How are you? But I was about to say, did y'all hear about the woman that went to? She went to I guess her husband was having an affair. Her husband was having an affair, and she went to the mistress' house. She actually went to the mistress' house, knocking on the door, wanting her husband to come outside. Wanting her husband to come outside. The lady wouldn't let her come in. She tried because she knew her husband was in there because she could hear him talking. So she forced her way in this woman's house after the woman told her that she couldn't come in, and the lady shot her in the stomach. The lady shot her in the stomach and unalived her. And the mistress didn't even get charged for it. So I was like, look, first of all, instead of her going there trying to get him out the house, I would have just had his bag and just left it at her step. Number one. Number two, if he's there and he's not coming outside, then he don't want to be with you. Period. I don't even know why would you even put your that's why I'm like, why would you even, I'm trying to think where did that happen. I saw the article. But I was like, that's crazy. You went to this woman's house. You went to this woman's house. You bold enough to go to this woman's house, telling her you want your husband. Why is your husband here? You ain't got no right asking this lady no question. Your conversation is with your husband. Yeah, she trashy. She might be trashy for doing what she did or whatever. But look, you don't have no promises with her. It's your husband. Would you say, KTC? Oh yeah, yeah. It's called the stand your ground law. Stand your ground law. You can't just walk up to people's house like that and she told you can't come in. That's trespassing. So you can't do that. And that's exactly what she did. She forced her way inside that lady house when that lady told her, "No, you can't come in." She forced her way in there, and that lady shot her in her stomach. And guess what? Her husband is gonna still be with the woman, and you're gone. So what problem did you solve? It's not worth it. Like I said, instead of her knocking at the door for him to come outside, his bag would have been on that lady's step, and my locks would have been changed. Period. I ain't going through all that drama. Mm-mm. But I don't know. I guess some people, they feel as though when you've already, and I understand you feel like you already invest so much in someone, and you got this family with these people or this person, you feel as though um, you don't want to let this other woman have him, but he's not even worth it. Say if it's different laws in every state, so it could be legal in one and not in the other. Yeah, yeah, that's true. But I mean, I guess when you got kids with people and you wanna trying to keep your family, you want to keep your family together. A lot of women go to the extra mile, go to that extreme to keep their family together. But for one, if she knows he was in the house, and she was outside, and he knows that, she had no respect for her anyway. Hey, Flip, how are you today? No, you can't. You can't, KTC. You can't. You gotta play chess and not checkers in a situation like that. You got to. You got to know what to do. You have to know what to do. You have to know what to do. Let me tell you, I have a niece, one of my niece. She she caught her husband. She caught her husband cheating, and he has his own business. So what she did, I don't think he realized she had that much that had that much sense to do what she did. But it was so funny because when she found out like 2 weeks before this happened, she found out that she was cheating. You know when you got the iPad and you got the internet and you got a family package, you're gonna get your husband's emails and text messages and all that stuff. So she found out. That's how she found out, through that, looking at his text messages. So instead of her making a big fuss about it, you know what she did? Let me tell you what she did. She waited on that Saturday morning. She put a tracker on his car, for one. And she waited until he went to work on that Saturday morning. And I think he had to go like out of town, somewhere far where he wasn't going to come back to work for a couple hours or whatever. She already called the moving company. She had the moving company on standby and everything. When he left from that house that Saturday morning, she had that moving company come 8 o'clock that Saturday morning and packed up everything in that house. She already had her apartment ready and everything. When he came back home to nothing. She already had the apartment. She had everything. And she had the tracking on the car, so she knew that he was still, where he was the whole time. And he was so livid. He was mad. But she had all the evidence she needed, though. She had everything. She didn't overreact and tell him, say what she had and all. Because sometimes as women, we get so emotional. You get so emotional. You tell your plan before you need to. You gotta be able to think smart. You gotta be smart. You know, you have to. Cause if exactly, I'm gonna let the court handle. Let the court give me my money. I don't need to argue with you about nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. Because women, we go through these things all the time. I was married. I was once married. Where my kids, all my kids is, for my ex-husband. I used to be married to him, and um, when I think I left my husband. Oh, it was a long time. It was years ago, but my kids were little when I left my husband. When I had enough, I had enough. I don't have time, you know, to be with someone 20 and 30 years and then decide that, okay, I done had enough after all this, wasted all these years trying to fix something that can't be fixed. I ain't got time for that. Right. Hey, Roll Rich, I don't have time for that. I believe in marriage and I believe marriage is a great thing. I do. I really do believe marriage is a great thing, and I won't say I would never get married again, because I have someone that I'm actually dating and everything, but I feel as though people these days take marriage for granted. They really do take marriage for granted, and if you're not serious about it, don't even get into it. You don't have to submit yourself to something like that if you're not serious about it, because you're playing a dangerous game when you do that. That's how, just as easy as that girl got shot in her stomach, the girl, she could have got shot too, because you had that woman husband in your house. and you knew that he was married. They do get married for the wrong reason. You know, it's not about love anymore. It's about money and what you can do for me. And I mean, don't get me wrong now. I ain't nobody want no broke, nobody broke. You know, I'm not saying that you don't have to. I'm not saying that you don't have to look for everything, all the right things in a marriage. You want someone that's financially together. You want someone that loves you, and you want someone that you love and someone that you compatible. But sometimes people get married when you don't really love the person, but they have a lot of money. They have things that you can offer that they can offer you, but you have nothing compatible with them. And you play with people exactly, you play with people's emotion, and a lot of people get hurt like that. A lot of people get hurt like that. You can't be playing with people's emotions like that. You know, the best thing to do. Exactly, exactly. And you know what, KTC? The funny thing is, in that situation with that man and that woman, she probably wasn't even the only one he was messing with. After she did what she did, because chances are, even though she may not, you know, go to jail, maybe she might not go to jail behind it because she's gonna say it's self defense because this lady came in her house. But at the end of the day, he's probably not even gonna stay with her because he knows it's gonna look crazy that you stay with this woman that shot your kid's mama. So he's not even gonna stay with her. So they all it's just stupid. It's not even worth it. It is really not worth it. What you say? Just go. Exactly. Exactly. Well, that's it. The thing is, don't be playing with people's feelings. If you don't want to be with someone, then don't be with them. All you got to do is say, look, I want to move on. I don't think this is working out. Um, you go your way and let me go mine. That's all you got to do. If you do something like that, you handle it like that, things will work out better versus trying to be so sneaky and doing all this other craziness behind the back stuff and then get caught, and you end up having to pay all this money. So it's like, just be by yourself. If you want to be out there like that. And you can't do nothing but respect a person that says that. If someone comes and tell you, look, this ain't working out, I care about you, but I don't wanna prolong this if me and you I don't want to prolong this if me and you not on the same page. I'm wasting your time. I'm wasting your time. You're wasting my time. And I feel as though we need to go our separate ways. If you do that, you might can end as friends. I mean, some situations may not end as friends, but I mean, you might can walk away and y'all can still have your dignity. And I mean, you never know. Might can circle back and try again one day, but maybe, every season of your life is different. This season of your life is maybe meant for one thing, and the next season might be meant for another. This just might not be the season that you need to be in a relationship. Some people got to find themselves, and they got to know how to deal and handle and love themselves before they can pour out love to somebody else. That's just what it is. Everybody just not going to be on that right now. And you got to understand that. And sometimes men try to let a woman know that, but sometimes as women don't want to accept it. You got to be able to accept it when a man tell you that. If a man tell you that he don't want a relationship and he just want to be friends, you got to hear them. You got to hear them. But sometimes as women, you don't want to accept it. You don't you hear it, but you feel as though, well, if I do this for him, or if I do this for them and I do that for him, then maybe I can make him change your mind. You're not gonna make a man change his mind. You're not gonna make a man change their mind. Exactly. You can't overlook the red flags because the red flags are there. You can't be blind to it. It's right there. And you tell the man, if they're telling you that and you overlook it, guess what's gonna happen? Right, Ro, and it's gonna be the right woman for him. It's gonna be the right woman for him, and he gonna let you know if you're that woman. And after that, right, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I won't say you won't do it again though. You might do it again, bro. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen again. Sometimes you say that after a bad relationship or something that happens, but eventually you gonna try again. You gonna try again. Now you might move cautiously, but I believe you'll do it. You'll try again, but you definitely. You say you ain't changing. Say if it don't work, you ain't changing for nobody else. I don't know. I don't know, Road. That somebody else might come in and sweep you off your feet again. You never know. You never know. But we're gonna hope and we're gonna pray that you and your wife, y'all have everlasting love and you don't even have to worry about that. How about that? I'm gonna leave it as that. But because after I got divorced, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt that way too. Like I don't want to because I didn't have a good breakup with my ex-husband. You know, my ex-husband, my situation with him was kind of different because like I said, we got married kind of young. I got married to him when I was 19. I was young, he was young. We both just got married. I got pregnant with my son, and of course, sometimes when you get pregnant, you decide you're gonna do the right thing because you got pregnant and all that stuff. And we ended up getting married, and getting married young is a lot of pressure in itself when you getting married because you're young and you're still learning. And if you're not in the right place financially, it just causes more problem. It causes so much problem when you're not in a good, stable financial environment. And sometimes people can work through it. I want you. Okay, more change real sometimes. You say you. Oh, well, it sounded like she was the one for you, Ro. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you. Sometimes as a woman, you can do that. I mean, you can change that because I know, um, my friend, that I have now. Um, I think he's changed. I think he's changed a lot. He's changed a lot too. Because when I met him, he was different. But throughout the years, I see a lot of. He's told me that abundance of time too. How much he's changed. After me and him started dating. And I feel as though if you're a good enough woman and you have the right intentions, I believe you can make a man change for the better. Right. You can make a man change for the better if you have the right intentions. Um, but you'll know that from the beginning because if he's not going to change, trust me, you'll see it. It ain't no point. And in a situation like that, like I said earlier, there's no point in sitting here. There's really no point in sitting there wasting your years and your time. I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. But you know what's so funny? You know what's so funny, Ro, that you say that because we talk about that a lot, and my kids are grown. I have my kids, all my children are grown. My youngest child is Alexia, my daughter. She's 29 years old. 29 years old. So the fact that all my kids are grown and I've been by single. I don't want to say single, but been living by myself for so long. I'm so set in my ways. I don't even know how I would. I don't know. It's like I do want. I do want to, but Lord have mercy, I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of changes that I'm gonna have to do. Like, you know, I'm just kind of comfortable, just doing my own thing right now in my house. You know, come visit, you go home. I got my home. That's kind of situation. So, but I think I will. I will eventually get married again. I'm sure I will. Yeah. And my oldest is 32. My youngest is 29. And I had all my children. They were so close together. So, which I think is a good thing. I think it's good to have children close together because they all grow up together. They all grow up together when you have them so close. Yeah. It's been good chit chatting here with y'all. I appreciate you guys for coming through. Like I said, I'm not big when it comes to conversation, but if I can get a conversation going, then I can talk. But just kind of getting there is, you know, it's kind of hard. But if I have someone that I'm actually engaging with, it works for me. But I do appreciate you guys for coming through. I appreciate you guys for coming through. But I'm about to get up off of here. I'm about to get off of here, y'all. I'm sitting outside. See, it's so nice out here, y'all. I'm sitting out here in my yard. And thanks, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day. All right. Oh yeah, you heard it. I'm sitting here, might sit in this way. Yeah, it feels so good out here, though. Like really, really feels good out here. Hmm. All right, but it was a good conversation. I appreciate talking to y'all. Hopefully, I might try to go live again. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Pro, what's up? What's up, Pro? I really enjoyed that voice battle, man. That was good. I enjoyed it. Flip and them did their thing. That was good. It was good. It was a female that I was thinking about that does good impersonation. So Fly. I think it was So Fly that I was thinking about. I said So Fly probably would do good in that voice battle, cause she does some good impersonation. She really do. She be having So Fly be having me laughing. But Pro, Miss Baker, Keep the Change, Roll Rich, Yam Sam. Who else I saw come through? Uh, can't remember who else. Family Money. I'm sorry if I miss anyone. I'm sorry if I miss anyone. But I appreciate you guys coming through. I enjoyed the conversation. And I really enjoyed the conversation. Yeah, KTC So Fly would be good, right? I think she'll do a good job. Because she's funny too. So, mm, okay. I'm about to get off here. But I appreciate you guys coming through. And I'll be seeing y'all around. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be good. I wish I could. I can't do impersonations. I can't. Um, I don't know if I'm trying to think who I think would do a good job. True might be able to do a good job. I'm not sure. I think True might be able to do a pretty good job. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get off here because I think it saved my battery. I don't understand kill your battery so fast. Oh my goodness, my battery is like 5% right now on this iPad. So I'm gonna go ahead and hang up before it actually shut off on me. But you guys enjoy the rest of y'all day, and I will probably be seeing you around in different chats sometime later on today. And thanks again for coming through. Bye.